You're fired. And welcome to I Need a Hobby, a podcast. I'm this week's host, Alex, and to my left, this morning, someone spotted him panhandling down by the local intersection with a sign that read, "Will work for iTunes reviews." Chris.
True story, hey.
And to my right, he's definitely mentioning this podcast in his resume and LinkedIn, and I'm not joking, Andrew.
Hey, hello. That you are joking.
No, we'll find out later this episode, I'm sure.
All right, well, let's tell the folks what this podcast is about. This is I Need a Hobby. In I Need a Hobby Pod, Andrew, Chris, and myself, Alex, do hobbies, challenges, and activities. Listen, back during the 9 to 5 early in the day, yeah, we're working hard. But this podcast, we take a step back. It's all about the 5 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
How you guys doing today?
Doing all right. It's a hot one.
We
were just talking about the YouTube series Hot Ones. Unrelated.
So I was like,
Chris immediately wants to respond, but decides to wait until 2
I'm
minutes.
I'm gonna make a joke in reference to something that happened immediately before the pod. It is a hot one.
I thought like my brain still thought we were talking about there's a web series called
That's
Hot
what I was
Ones.
thinking too.
So in my mind, I was like, oh, wait, what's this episode on again? Are we talking about
Like, was I supposed to have
I was
eaten a
literally thinking
habanero?
like, wait, were we talking about Hot Ones like on the podcast? Or was that before? Like,
But we
weren't
It is a
transitioned.
scorcher outside.
so hot. You had to get a haircut, Alex.
Yes, summer trim, baby.
Yeah, that's a good cut.
I said, cool me down when I went to the barber.
Now, we talked about this before the haircut, before the pod.
Yeah.
Did you tell him to touch your beard at all?
No, so last time, actually, there's a bit of a saga to this. Listeners of the podcast know about the Los Primos special.
Mm-hmm.
It's where you go to Los Primos, which is the local barbershop that some of us go to. I guess we all go to it.
Can I say my story about the Los Primos special?
Yep,
last
go
time
for
I went? Real interjection. When I went last time, I had like a longer beard, and I was planning on shaving the whole thing. So I don't know why. I don't know. I think like when you go in with a beard like Alex's,
Thank you.
maybe there's a little.
Well, wait, I told you it was a saga.
All right, maybe there's an assumption that like they wouldn't touch it, because when you have like a little lighter beard than us, they give you the special because it's just like they'll just shave it, whatever.
And explain the special.
The special, once again, is basically a shave of the
It's like an inch and a
sideburns and like a little more. So
it's like
a little weird.
You don't look like a normal
on
person.
both sides.
It's like every
It keeps
hair,
the cheeks though. It keeps the cheeks. Yeah.
every hair between your sideburns and your mustache, but like just before the mustache starts. So it's the whole sideburn.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So if you're going down your face, yeah.
Right.
You basically get to your mustache.
Just what Alex said.
Trim everything before that.
But you're not. They don't shave your mustache.
No.
God forbid if they touched my mustache, I would freak.
Anyway,
So you're right. When you have a little bit of a beard, I would say between like 0 weeks and 4 weeks of beard.
well,
maybe
speak for
even-
yourself. For me, it's like 2 weeks. Or wait.
I was gonna say maybe even more.
I think less. Are you kidding me?
You don't think? Well,
Whatever. They are
no,
pretty
I
lenient
think-
with the specials.
I think it's happened to me with a 4-week
Okay.
beard.
All right. Sure.
No,
Anyway,
maybe not.
I had like a 6-week beard.
Also, the special is not advertised.
No.
It's not a
like a
deal.
buy
If you're a
one,
real
get one.
listener, well, sorry, not to call anyone out, but I feel like we talk about Los Primos like once every 2 or 3 episodes. So
Andrew's going to have this played at his next job.
Listeners are going to go back and be like, "Oh, they must talk about it in the Getting a Haircut episode."
you
where
know,
we don't talk about the Los Primos
that's a
special
good
at
point.
all.
I feel like the Los Primos special.
I think we
I
mentioned
talk
it
about
once.
it. I talk about it with my friends
Yeah, we
very
talk about
frequently,
it.
but I don't think
You talk
we've
about
talked about it on the
It's
podcast.
been on the
haircuts.
podcast. It's
Talk
been
my
about
fault, my
hot
fault.
ones.
I take it back. Anyway, so
I
I
want
said,
to answer the dang
sorry,
question that Chris asked
I
me.
said you can like shave the beard, or I said don't worry about the beard because I'm gonna shave it because it was 6 weeks. It wasn't like a
Oh, so this
one that
wasn't
needs to be touched
unprompted.
up.
Okay.
No, but
okay.
I don't know. I think that my beard was long enough where maybe they were thinking like, oh, I got to be careful or something. So I don't know. I just said make it easy, like, hey, don't worry about it. And then he said, hey, you want me to trim it with the buzzers? So he ended up doing that. I didn't even have to. Yeah, I didn't even have to shave it. It set me back, so I was able to wait another 2 weeks.
Wait. What do you mean by trim? How low did he cut?
No, he literally took like I think I was getting a 2 or 3 on the sides. I think 3 at the time, and he just took the 3 and just put it on my face.
Oh,
It's
really?
cool. Yeah, it was really cool.
I feel like 3 is still pretty long.
I know it was.
I
It
honestly
was,
feel like
but
my
it was
beard
good.
right now is almost a 3.
No,
Yeah, that's all.
I think it's close to
that's
a 3.
like an 8. I'm
don't
serious.
think so.
Yeah, it is. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding.
All right, we'll talk about this
All
on
right.
the pod.
Well, anyway, the point is that
He touched my beard with the.
it was a change up from the special, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So what
that's
happened
even
to you?
better. That's like this deluxe special.
Yeah, it was a deluxe special. And then I told you this, Alex. I thought that Chris mentioned that he was in a situation like this where he
All right, hold on.
ended up paying for a shave.
We talked about that on pod too.
Yeah. And
What is our podcast becoming?
I think the bartender was, or I mean, Jesus. now here's the end of the joke. No, I think the barber was, I think he was upset that I gave him $25, which is a decent tip on like a $19 haircut. But if you get the shave too, that's no tip. So I don't know. Do you think I got the shave?
Wait, he was upset?
I think he was upset by the way. By the way, I gave him like a 25% tip, and like his reaction was very like, And I was like,
"That's a good. How much is the haircut? $19?
But the barber might have thought he gave him a shave.
That's what I'm thinking, but he didn't though. He took buzzers and he
I know.
But he said $19.
No, he didn't.
Well, you said don't worry about the beard. So I think whatever he did, even if he shaved
I did
your
say
beard,
don't worry about the beard, and then he
can't charge you
Well,
for that.
that's not true. That's not true. Because then he said, "Hey, you want me to buzz
I
it?
know. I
You
think
want me to
I think he
buzz
was upselling you. I don't think he was.
I think he might have.
Yeah, I think he just didn't tip him.
No tip.
I don't feel guilty about that. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
All right, so
Because it's not really a shave.
You're known not to tip. So
the
that's fine.
saga,
All right, Alex.
I went when I had almost no beard, a few weeks. They gave me the special. Then I went when I was getting a beard, between 4 and 6 weeks, probably. And I thought to myself, I'm already between 4 and 6 weeks probably into this beard.
Yeah.
I don't want the special right now because I'm going to have to shave it at least to a goatee, at worst a mustache, and God forbid down to the bare skin. So I said specifically, this is a few months ago, or probably about a month and a half ago. I said specifically, don't touch the beard. And the guy like laughed at me. He's like, "Are you sure?" Which made me think, "Oh God, he wants to shave my beard."
I want to give you the special.
I said, "Do not touch my beard, please." I looked it up in Google Translate, how to say it in multiple languages, just in case. Thankfully, only needed English.
You led with Russian.
So this time I went in and I thought to myself, "I'm not going to say anything."
Yeah.
All I said was, two on the top, keep it loose up high, or whatever.
A normal thing to say.
Two on the top, keep it loose up high. That's not a normal thing to say. You mean two on the sides.
He did, yeah.
He said two on the top and keep it loose.
Two on the
now
sides,
he's confused. He gives you the special.
Two on the sides, dye my hair blonde on top.
Get loose with it.
And then he gets to my beard and he starts trimming. He's got the two on, and he starts trimming my beard.
Yeah,
a little bit. Can you tell?
No,
not really.
Well, it's like
like a lineup.
It's like my side. It's where my sideburn ends.
It looks good, also.
To me, I looked at it afterwards. I think he nailed it. He did it perfectly.
Oh.
But step back. Before this haircut, I texted them, Andrew and Chris, saying, "Hey, I'm thinking about going to Los Primos for a haircut, and I might have them trim up my beard. Do you think that's too risky?" Chris responded saying it's too risky. Andrew, you've gotten your beard trimmed there. You didn't say anything.
Oh,
what the heck?
No, I remember that. I actually have my response typed out saying, "Be careful. I think it's a risk," basically. And then Chris ended up responding, and then I thought I responded, but I never did, and then it seemed stupid.
I'm thinking
maybe you were feeling remorseful.
But I was thinking the same thing. Like, yeah, that it's risky to go there and then not address the beard.
The other thing he did is he lined up like my cheek. Can you tell? Like where he would do the special.
I see it.
He kind of trimmed with the straight razor to make it look nice.
Straight razor there is so good.
Like I think this is the best my beard has ever looked, and he barely even touched my beard. It's just like the accents he gave to it.
See, now here's a question: if you're going into a job interview,
I was gonna that's in my notes,
and you have a beard, I think this needs to fix. I'll save it. I just wanted to move this conversation along.
Should we talk about it now, or should we wait?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, do you want to finish your saga or no?
No, that was it.
Okay.
It was just that I didn't say anything, and he trusted that this guy wants to keep his beard. I guess if he shaved my beard at the length it is now, some would call it an 8.
Yeah.
Then it would be weird, right? If he Los Primos specialed it.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about your head reversed right now, and I think it would work.
Well, I think it would too. All right, let's just
take the loose on top and put it on the beard. Put the beard on top. And I think it looks not crazy.
Let's save the beard talk for the end. I bet.
Sure.
One more question. Was it the guy? One guy there that I like his style. Nice, he's a fun guy. He has like this really cool basically it's like a Patriots. Have you seen it? It's like the Patriots logo with like on like the Lucky from the Celtics like mascot, and he's like got like a baseball bat, and he also has like a hockey stick or something.
I've seen that picture before. I don't know if
it's like one guy, and I said like, oh, that's really cool.
I went to Los Primos 3 though, not Los Primos 2.
I went to Los Primos 2.
Yeah. All right. Let's say, hey, but you know what? Chris earlier was saying he wants a job.
He wants
at Los Primos 2.
He wants to be a barber. I wish.
All right, we're talking about getting a job in this episode because Andrew and I
need jobs.
Are about to be unemployed. Basically.
How about this? Episode 99, work at the 99.
I would.
It's a restaurant.
I would
I
too.
would do that.
That's the thing. We
They've
we
got
could
good
talk
trivia. We've talked about.
about. They do stopgap jobs, right? Potentially,
What's that?
we have a job. We'd go there. We're unemployed. Say, hey, buddy, where's the rent?
Wait, what do you call it? Stopgap job?
Stopgap, like a stopgap. You know, it's like.
Oh, I thought you were saying like this is what I want. I want to put a stop to gap jobs.
Wait, you never heard stopgap?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Neither of you guys have heard the word stopgap.
No,
before.
and I've been interviewing.
Holy.
I've been researching getting a job for the past couple weeks.
Man,
I've not seen one thing about a stopgap.
I would probably have to. I think that's really a deal breaker for me. I mean,
Sitting down in the interview.
Wait, what does it mean?
stopgap is like it's like literally like you're plugging a hole. Like it's a temporary fix, is what I'm saying.
Like
Oh,
it's like
okay,
it's like getting a job at the 99.
Yes.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's what I'm saying.
Because
It's a
you're interviewing
stopgap.
for
Like
other
it's
jobs.
like it's like
To
You need
stop a
something.
gap.
I guess the word doesn't actually
that
make sense.
No, that
but
makes sense.
Yeah.
To stop a gap. What Chris just said.
Okay, yeah, there.
Yeah,
there
I have
you
a
go.
gap in my career. Let's stop this gap.
You wanted to call it a plug a hole in the bucket job, which almost makes less sense.
Yeah, I mean, first thing on your resume doesn't say like, this was
All right.
your high school experience, and then down below stopgap job.
Let's say this then.
Very important.
You're interviewing
Mm-hmm.
for. I feel like where we are, it's like, it's not like there's a difference between interviewing for like a job while you're in college or in high school to like the jobs we have now,
Yeah.
or we're trying to get now.
Definitely.
Would you put a stopgap job on your resume? Like,
Good point. I
I think it
don't
might
know.
look worse to say
Yeah.
my most recent work experience is working at the 99 than it would to say I have not had a job for 3 months.
I
Because
think
then if they ask you, say, "Oh yeah, I've been job
Yeah.
searching and
See,
I have been working."
I'd
but-
say I think it depends a lot on context. Like, if right now I got fired
Mm-hmm.
and then for a few months worked at, I don't know, let's just say
The 99 even.
I think it might be in my benefit to say yes, like to show that like I have enough, like drive that like
Yeah.
I need to work. I
Gotta
want to
get
do
that
something.
stopgap.
Yeah, like I don't want to say like, oh, I got fired and I sat around until you know
My
what I mean?
issue, I think, I don't know. I feel like people are better about it now, but like I guess this is very consistent with the theme of our podcast. But to me, there is no shame in like any kind of stopgap job.
Oh yeah, all money's green,
Like,
baby.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
money's
right?
green.
They all have George Washington
Yeah.
on them.
Yeah.
But I would also say, like, I think you need to keep the time in mind. Like, when I was applying to jobs out of college, I didn't have, like, my first job. And if I were to apply to a job now, I probably wouldn't have, like,
I was
my
I was-
first few, like, retail-y kind of jobs
Yeah.
anymore. I would
'Cause
just
I-
focus
Yeah,
on
yeah.
I worked at like a fitness center in
Mm-hmm.
school. I just sat at a desk, and that was on my resume when I was applying to like
in college.
my
right?
after college.
Which
job.
makes total sense.
A
But
lot of
nowadays,
jobs-
I wouldn't put that on.
I think,
'cause it's,
college experience, when
pointless.
you're applying out of college, anything you did in college, I think
Yeah.
is fair game.
right.
Chris, perhaps at the job that you're at, doing retail experience in high school is actually like
Yeah.
That's
I think
true,
you,
yeah.
I think
obviously not applicable, but
No,
still
somewhat.
like
I'd say
beneficial.
I'd say
you know
anything.
what I mean?
I think if you can link whatever you're doing to your job, it's good. Like one thing I will say, like in college, I was like the treasurer of a club, which like if I said it in an interview now, it doesn't sound like anything. But the things I did for that club were things that still apply to my
Right.
career. And I if I was to apply to a job, I would put it on my resume and explain this
Yeah.
is why I'm putting it.
See,
It's not some BS.
I
you know?
think it's risk. I like back to the 99.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much the treasure thing because you're right. It clearly comes with some possibly significant responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
But you could only put a few things on your resume.
yeah,
Everything
true.
has to pack
Yeah.
a punch.
That's true. I mean,
so
that
if the
thing
punch
might
that the
make the cut.
99 is packing is, oh, he just worked at the 99 recently. That means nothing to
Right,
a potential
right.
employer. Whereas
Wait, I want to say, is the 99 local or no?
I think it started in New York and is an East Coast chain.
Okay,
But
it's just a restaurant.
yeah.
Like,
That's it.
that's it. But,
everyone's thinking, oh, I thought it was the dollar store. I thought it was a knockoff of the dollar store.
ooh, that'd be
Which
nice.
would be good, yeah.
Here's how we put the dollar store out of business. The 99.
Like, you know what I mean? Everything has to carry some
Yeah,
weight.
exactly.
So if the 99, if you're looking at a resume at a glance and
Yeah,
what
it
you
just
take
says
away
the
is,
99.
oh, he just has this stopgap job, means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
you take that off and you can replace something you did in the past that's maybe packs a little bit more
Even
weight.
if you take that off and
I'd rather
the
do that.
line
Same
that's
thing.
replaced with just says like fluent in Spanish.
Right, exactly.
That's probably
Because then
that's
even
even
if,
more.
if it comes up, the resume just gets you in the door.
For
Comes up in the interview, then you say, "Oh, I've had some stopgap jobs,
Yeah.
some plug a hole in the bucket." They say in some areas of the country.
Yeah.
Then you can explain yourself.
that for my this is kind of random, but for my Survivor audition video, they said like make the
Which
video.
is your job interview.
Which
Yeah.
yeah,
was
it was
technically
more or less a
an
job.
interview.
Which is what you're
Yeah.
telling your parents.
This was a while ago, well, almost a year ago, and it said make the video 3 minutes. And initially, I'm like, all right, like let's fit everything we can into 3 minutes. And then I kind of realized like maybe I like, and I feel like I did too much still. It's still like, I think I ended up like 2 minutes, 30 seconds. But like before I was like, oh, I'm going to get it perfect, like right at the thing. But then I thought about it, like maybe I have too much filler, you know? What about like what about a 90-second, like everything in it is like essential, you know what I mean? Instead of just like filling time. I don't know. That was just the first example I thought of it applied to, but
that's why I kind of like your resume should only be one.
I agree.
I think all of us could fit more than one page on a
just like
a
a classic thing. Like you can continuously be like, I don't know, like every time I update my resume, I think like I'll look at something, I'd be like, oh, this doesn't matter, but I want to add this every single time, you know?
Yeah.
So if I have something to add, I've never had the problem, like, and I'm always at a page. I've never had a problem where I'd be like, I mean, maybe it's like, you know, you type a letter and it goes to the second page, so you got to like work it out.
Adjust
but
the margins,
I've never had
perhaps.
like oh man, like I really can't decide what to delete right now because you know,
there's
always something.
I like the thought, like, because I mean, it just needs to be enough to get you in the door, and anything else you can say. So if you want to have like long descriptions, that'll come in the conversation. If they read the whole thing and then the interview, they don't learn anything else about you, then it's like, why
that's
they
true. Yeah, you got to elaborate on something.
Definitely.
Yeah. Should we talk about what's on our resumes, or like? What about beyond work experience, you know?
Yeah, because I'd say I haven't updated my resume in a while because I've had a job. But
you should always be updating your resume.
That's true. Yes, maybe I should.
Best
time to look for a job is when you have a job, don't they say?
Uh-oh.
Is that an insult?
I don't know. I think I like.
True?
I think I read that on a LinkedIn article one time.
Well, it's just like the classic, like never satisfied, you know, like what, like
that's
It's not the best time to look for a job.
Because you look bad to your employer.
But if you do look for a job when you have a job, all of a sudden, like maybe you get a better offer. It's kind of like if you're happy with your job, then don't.
Yeah.
But if you're maybe like, I'll give it a shot, and then all of a sudden you get a better offer, and you're like, wow, this is great. Right. You know what I mean? So that's what I think Chris is. So.
Yeah, I'd say one thing that I like to do. This is a little life hack. Is I think you do like. Especially a cover letter, you need to make different for each job, obviously. You're talking about the job specifically. Yeah. But I think resumes, there's a way that you can tinker little things. I'll give you some fun facts. So I used to work in recruiting for a summer. I had an internship. And we had a database where they'd send in our resumes. So we would read through them, blah, blah, blah. So say someone was applying for a job as the business I worked for did a lot of like psychiatry, things like that.
Sure.
So psychiatrist, I could Google words and see if they were in the resume.
I was just going to say.
So if
that was what you did at your job?
That was part of it. Okay. And there was like a search engine that would be like, okay, psychiatrist, fluent in Spanish, PhD. And then it would be like, these 8 people have all that in their resume. And so if you're applying to a job that says requires Excel, Word, even though obviously everyone knows Excel and Word, throw that in their resume. Because you might just get filtered out.
I was just talking about this the other day. They have like, some of them are just, they don't have recruiters like Chris that was hired. It's just like a computer program.
Literally. I mean,
so if it doesn't have those words in it, they don't even consider it.
Don't even make the test.
Which is annoying because like.
But it's understandable in a way.
Yeah. It's certainly
for certain
understandable.
jobs, there's thousands.
Yeah. It's just annoying because like, if someone who doesn't know that, they could be very qualified for the job. And then
one thing that I like, that I really hate is like, I wouldn't say this with myself, but there are certain people that like, I just like know would be so good at a certain job. You know, it's really hard to explain, but like I could tell like the hiring person, you know, imagine like this is like a fantasy world at this point. Like obviously this would never happen, but if I could go up to the hiring manager and be like, I guarantee you this person would be like amazing at the job, and like, but like still there's still, you know what I mean? Like it's tough to like, that can never happen. You know what I mean? Do you guys have friends that like you could be like, well, the example I'm thinking of is like one of my friends like was really smart guy, like out of college. He like really wanted this job, and like I just knew he'd be like so good, like everything he's done like academically has been like amazing, you know, and it's just like a really competitive job, and like just want to be like, hey, like you don't understand, like because what I'm saying is that I think it's so easy to fake a resume to an extent.
Yeah.
But I don't think I follow anything of what you're saying.
Okay. What
I see,
okay.
But I get what you're saying. You're basically saying
that
people will not even get into the interview. And
I think
a lot of people, even if you like don't interview well, or like you can embellish on your resume. Like I think what I'm saying is that I think it is harder than we are aware to like see through BS in an interview.
For sure.
But like if you have someone vouch for you, like I wouldn't do that to everyone too. I think for some people I could literally be like, this person would be so good.
I think you could do that
if I was a reference.
Well, here's my hot take too. Is
if you worked there, I think.
No, but not if I worked there. That's the fantasy
no, but
world
that's what I'm trying to get into. Is that's very doable still. Like so, I'd say
is
when
it
I was
that's the thing.
So when I was looking for jobs senior of college, I'll just give a little background on my job applying history. I was in a frenzy. Senior year, I was like, I need to have a job. I need to have a job. I was applying to like a couple jobs a day. Me and my current roommate had a thing like ongoing, like let's each apply to one job every day.
Right, good.
And we talked about, we held ourselves accountable. We really did it. I was getting nowhere. I got a couple interviews, nothing good.
It's tough.
Then I took like a class where they gave us some tips. Some of Alex's tips that he might give us later. And they were like, make a connection with the company. Don't just apply because it's a number. So I started applying to less jobs, but just reaching out to people. So like I would message for companies, I'd look up like my school or something, be like, hey, I see you work here, blah, blah, blah.
You would email them?
Like LinkedIn. And I'd be like, hey.
Dang, you are always on LinkedIn.
I as someone who still has a job and isn't looking, I love LinkedIn.
Did you get your present job now from doing something like that?
I was communicating through people on LinkedIn and
like, hey,
various emails.
Love this profile pic or like...
Yeah, hey dude, you look good. I made a Tinder just for the job hunt. No, but I mean, it's just making a personal connection.
See, that intimidates me.
But
I don't like that, dude. I'm not gonna lie. That seems phony.
Right.
No, but that's what you're saying is
I agree.
like.
That's the thing. The whole job search is phony from
it's all
both
phony.
ends.
But I think you need to know the system if you want to have a chance at getting the job.
I know, it's just so frustrating.
You know what I mean? And
you're right.
It's tough.
Now I understand what you're saying.
To an extent.
Like
you know what? You understood what I was saying.
Now I kind of understand. Like,
what I'm saying is,
you could. It's like that. It's like when people say like. Well, even though I don't fully agree with this, but like someone's a bad test taker.
Yeah.
So their complaint is like, "Oh, I know the material, but you're better."
Yeah,
at, like,
I don't
under pressure.
really
than me,
agree with that.
So you get,
but
that's like
still,
what you mean. Right?
That is what I mean.
I could be a bad interviewer.
Like imagine this.
Just because I'm qualified for the job.
Do you remember the SpongeBob episode with the Robo Crabs? No?
Oh yeah.
All right. It's like so obvious which one is the real Mr. Krabs, you know.
Sure.
But to the interviewer, they look the same. You know what I mean?
I think, based on the resume and cover letter, I think the interview. It's different because that's your time to shine. Like now, now it's fully under your control. You could still be a poor interviewer.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Interviewee.
Yeah, I can compromise with that. I just still think that like some people wouldn't interview well, but like would be really good.
I think
I don't know.
It also depends on the job. Like I'd say, like
I agree.
My job is one where I'm talking to people all day. Like I think part of like. If I didn't interview well, I think it would have been a big problem. But if you're a job where you're at a computer all day, just like it's really just about your skills.
Right.
That's true. You don't need to be a nice guy if you're doing
as a camp counselor a long time and like working with kids a lot, I would actually say that that's like the toughest job to interview for or as the employer, because you cannot straight up, like so many people will interview well in that and just be like terrible with kids and you have no idea, you know, but like, cause kids are like that wild card variable. You know what I mean? You have like adult jobs and you can like, everyone kind of like,
there's some kids out there in the workplace. I will say.
Really?
I mean, just like, you know,
like
no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, I don't know. Adults who
like
do wonky things.
Immature people.
Yeah,
oh, really?
Of course. Anywhere you go.
And isn't your boss 8 years old?
Of course, yeah. A prodigy.
All right, no, elaborate, Chris.
No, I don't know. I just think it's like the same thing you're saying.
I was making a joke that like,
I was making a joke.
Idiots in the
No, I understand that, but like
explain.
But I think
I don't know, but
the trait of being able to deal with people is always important. Like,
right.
Like there are like
right. That's what I mean.
I can't think of a ton of
with
examples, but like not everyone I work with is incredibly nice. Is the best person. You know what I mean? Like, and even if they're doing the job, and even if they interview well, and even you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And think of like a job where you're dealing with like, I don't know, customers all day.
Yeah.
Like you could interview well and
that's what I mean.
Act like a very friendly person because the person on the other side of the desk is friendly.
Yeah.
Or at least neutral. But then when you're on the phone with someone who's like insanely bratty or whatever.
That's what I'm trying to get. Yeah.
Then it's different.
I don't know. I don't want to, whatever, but I'm just going to say what I was going to say is that like when we had our jobs, our like retail jobs as high schoolers, we were pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I was better than like the like older people that worked there. And it was, maybe it was just cause I wasn't like jaded yet. I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't like, it was my first job. So I was like, okay, I really need to like be nice to all the customers. And like, I need to like, you know, and like, I feel like that attitude, just having that attitude made me do better. Where like, if you go into a job, really any kind of job is what I'm saying now, and just be like, I don't know, I guess it's a vicious cycle, right? If you hate your job, then you'll do worse. But like, if you have this attitude of like, this is no fun and this is terrible, then like, you're not going to have fun and it's going to be terrible.
I agree. I think even today, like when I have a job, you got to think, I mean, it takes up literally most of my time. I work from 9 to 5 at least. On a good week, I work 9 to 5.
Say it again.
Most of the time, it's the 9 to 5.
Yeah, there we go.
But it's like, I don't know. I see my coworkers more than I see my family. You know, I need to treat them nicely.
Yeah.
Right. It's like The Office.
Yeah.
The show,
TV show.
The show, The
Yeah.
Office. They all loved each other by the end. You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are looking for jobs. What are some of your ideas?
I want
techniques?
to get back into LinkedIn talk.
Yeah.
Sure.
So want me to?
To me, LinkedIn feels so unnecessary.
Yeah, that's why I don't have one still, but I'm definitely planning on getting one. Truthfully, the real reason I do not have one is because I don't think I have a good photo that I want to use right
that's
now.
my reason too.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say.
I feel
know.
like LinkedIn paid a bunch of job websites to say like, "Hey, put us in your top 5 job
Yeah.
tips or something."
Yeah.
Like
that's a good
it's
point.
everywhere, but maybe it's everywhere for a
I
reason.
think it depends how you're using it. And like, I'll say I'm not in a position where I'm looking for employees for my job. I'm not in a hiring role, but I have gotten like messages from people who are, and I'm not like
They're
searching.
messaging you saying, "Hey, I'm applying to your company."
No, they're saying, "Hey, I've done a couple things like that, but it's mostly like, hey, I saw your profile. I see you work at X company. Are you interested to work at our company?"
Yeah.
Oh,
And
really?
So people are just reaching out to me, and
Well, recruiters, right?
recruiters, and I usually don't respond. I usually say buzz off, but
Yeah.
so I mean, just being on there, I think gets you stuff like that.
Dang.
I
But
think that's true.
I'd also
but-
say
See, that to me sounds like a fantasy.
I could show you some.
It's one of my many fantasies.
I could show you my DMs right now, honestly.
it's tough though, because all that stuff, like,
I would never if I was hiring for a job.
Well,
what does LinkedIn mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just a source of people.
I know it's like I
With
wouldn't go on
credentials.
Facebook and be like, "Ooh,
No.
you look like you're." But if they had their credentials on Facebook,
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
that's
like,
true.
"Hey, you look like you could be great for my job."
yeah, I
Well-
agree.
Well, I will say then.
It just feels
Another
sketchy.
thing about it is, how you just said this, Andrew. Like, if you could vouch for someone and say, like, this guy is a good guy.
Yeah.
Right. You could do that. On
I
LinkedIn,
have
right?
maybe 200 LinkedIn people, right?
I think
and if
that-
I
that
was just
blows my
looking and I
mind
see one of my good friends just got a job at this company, I'm like, oh, I'm interested in that company. Hey, how do you like this company? Oh, it's cool. And then it's like, I'm thinking about working there, and he's like, I could vouch that you'd be good at this job. There's
Through
your in.
LinkedIn.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's a fact. Like, it's like,
What do you mean by that? It's like a
No, well,
It's like a click. Like
well, so
vouch.
there's a couple. There's
No,
like
that's
there's
different. That's
one.
different.
There's you can literally endorse someone. So
Oh, yeah, that's
I
what
was gonna say
thinking.
that. I think seems kind of
That
like
is less
it's-
important.
that literally seems like a point system.
Nope,
That's,
I-
that's
thing,
what I
know
thought you
mean?
were saying. That's
I
like
could
a like on
I could show you
Instagram.
my endorsements. I don't think I have more than like 3 on any of them because I
Yeah.
don't care about it.
Yeah.
But
Obviously, because I don't care
That's
about
why,
it.
okay.
I've asked plenty of people. No, but I think like there's some sort of company system, I'm sure, where you just email someone your resume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
done stuff
That's
like that in my
because he saw you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because
But-
you saw him on LinkedIn.
What,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're saying makes sense, Chris, where like if it's like, I don't know, just some random job, right? My example would be A24, the film studios, right? If I see someone I know is working for A24, I'm gonna be like, yo, like I love A24, like, do you think they're having an opening for something?
I'm actually an actor.
Yeah.
I
I'd like to
mean-
be in this movie actually.
I'm telling you that
You know
it's
what I
like
mean? And then even if you don't know them well, it's like if you really want a job, then they
Just
could
do
probably
it.
be
That's
like,
what- that's what you have to
oh,
do.
what's up, man? Yeah, sure. Like,
yeah.
You're right,
Because here's what I
places-
think
a lot
about
of
too.
places
If
will-
I got
sorry.
a message and it said, "Hey, I'm interested about your job. Can you tell me about it?" If I told my boss, "Hey, I'm gonna go take a 10-minute phone call with someone who's interested in working here on the clock in the 9 to 5," I'm sure he would say yes.
yeah.
Because he's like, "Oh yeah, this is
Right.
cool. This is like Chris trying to like meet new people, learn more." You know what I mean?
Sure.
But what does that have to do with LinkedIn?
So I'm saying, if you message someone at whatever you just said,
A24.
Oh, they're going to be
A24,
open to.
they're going to be
communicate with
open to
Yeah. I just don't like, I mean, this is just a general thing in my life, but I don't like what you're saying, Chris, like getting a message like that. That just reminds me of like, like imagine you're walking down the street and someone's like, free food, like right here, free food. Here's your free food.
Yeah, it feels
You'd
like-
be like, nah, sorry. I
that
wouldn't.
happens all the time, and I say yes.
It's like
I would not take it. It'd be like, why are you giving me free food? If someone's messaging
There's
me
al-
like,
it-
hey, like come work at my job, it's
I
great.
agree.
Like,
No, I
it's
agree. Like, I think
why?
There's
It's
an
creepy.
alternative motive there.
Exactly.
that they're
Like
not
it's
letting
probably
you
a
know.
job with really high turnover and it sucks
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
you
yeah,
know?
I'm sure. Yeah.
So that
You
freaks
need
me
to do
out.
your research
Because I was going to say.
I definitely took interviews from stuff like that when I was in college.
Right.
Yeah.
And had a 10-minute interview, one of those quick phone calls, and was like,
I'm not
going to do this job.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say the job you want to pump yourself up on your resume or your LinkedIn profile, like, which already feels phony. To
It
do.
does.
Yeah, it does,
whatever.
but
the
you have
job or the job, whatever it's called, job listing
Mm-hmm.
is doing the same thing for them. So they are trying to sell themselves just
Yeah.
as you are
That's
trying
true.
to sell yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is annoying. It's like, can't we all just be
Yeah.
real with each other?
Yeah,
Like,
it
this
seems
is
like
my
fake.
this is why I'm qualified for this
Think
job.
about when
if
you were
want me, take me. If
applying to
not-
college, though. It's the same thing. Like, I
But
put
it's
on.
annoying.
It is annoying,
It
but
shouldn't be like that.
how should it be?
Well, when you get 2 weeks into the job and realize, oh crap, I don't know Excel, like you're going to be a bad employee, and they should say like, hey, you like lied about everything on your application. Like,
I do have
why can't it just be real?
Just like a blank Word doc. Like, I'm sorry, boss.
I don't know Excel.
I lied.
I remember I did have one interview.
You're coming to school wearing extra large clothing. Yeah, I thought this was Excel.
I had an interview when I was in college that I didn't get the job, and the job was, so I was a marketing major, but I did a lot of stuff with like data analysis, and this word had that in it, just a buzzword. And then they're like, how good are you at data analysis? And I'm like, I think I'm pretty good. They're like, do you know this software, this software, this software? I'm like,
no.
I know of them. And then they instantly were like, all right, yeah, you're not getting this job, basically.
I know it's annoying, but the job listing will do the same thing. Like you said, the high turnover rate jobs, they're going to say like, I don't know, it's competitive pay and all this stuff.
Course,
it's like, all right, well, that clearly doesn't matter enough because everyone's leaving.
Yeah. But I think another tip I'm going to give you guys, because I'd say a lot of these jobs, like high turnover, things like that. But I think people are also sometimes afraid to apply to jobs that they don't think they're qualified for.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And I think that's a big mistake too. Like if you're seeing a job that says 5 years of experience and you don't have it,
right?
I mean, but if it's something in your field, and
because you could prove yourself in the interview,
and if that's not the right job, it'll get you in the door, and then they'll find something for you.
See, that to me, it gets you in the door of the company. You mean?
Yeah,
because I was gonna say,
or who knows, maybe just for that job.
yeah. I think apply to. I mean, as long as it doesn't say like you need your PhD or whatever, something like insanely,
or like you need to be a doctor.
yeah,
for this job as a doctor.
But if it's something that if you're qualified for a large percentage, but you're not qualified for a few, like at least try, and maybe certain of those qualifications way more than others.
Yeah.
Like you could prove yourself in the interview.
Yeah,
and I don't know. You gotta.
I mean, in jobs they'll teach you the things you don't know. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Yeah. Like my brother was saying that it's like. Because he's also doing computer science, and a lot of stuff's really annoying where like there's so many computer science things. It's like should be familiar with like random AF software because there's so many like different types of languages. Like there's stuff with databases, there's stuff where you're like actually doing hands-on coding, like making projects, making websites and stuff, right? So it's like so many different languages, and like so many of the jobs will say like you should be proficient in this, and this, and like my brother would be like, yeah, like I didn't know that stuff, but then I just learned it at my internship, and it's like it just seems stupid. It literally seems like it's like the equivalent of like me asking you like a riddle basically. And then if you get the answer to the riddle, I'll like tell you more riddles. And then I'll be like, oh, and then you can tell this guy this riddle, you know? Like
annoying.
It's just like get this one thing right in an interview.
That's what I mean.
And then you'll learn everything else.
I think
so phony.
I think the number one, your goal for an interview should be to prove that you are ready to work and ready to learn.
Right.
I'll say one of my good friends just had an interview, and she had to have it was like a specific like some sort of coding something.
Yeah.
They were like, do you know it? And she was like, no, but like I could learn it.
Right. I'm ready. I'm willing to
she got the job and is now learning it on the job.
Good.
You know what I mean? So it's like things like that.
See, like, that's like my big thing because I don't have like the internship experience, but like I do have that like I just know that I'll be able to learn it if I like am given the opportunity.
Yeah,
you know? Like,
which is fine.
Even if I'm like really struggling, I'll be like, okay, like this is my job now. You know what I mean? Like
you'll put in the hours.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm going to learn this, but it's just very tough to like, and I don't blame them to get to a point where you're like, okay, like first we're doing a phone interview, then we're gonna do the technical interview, then we're gonna do a Skype interview, and I don't want to do it. Like, I'm sorry, like.
But that's how it goes.
It's too much.
It is a lot. My current job, I want to say 3 separate interviews for, which is a lot.
It is, but it's understandable, I guess.
It almost reminds me of like when you're dating someone, and it's like the first date. It's like you're trying not to be like you're constantly trying to agree with them.
First date syndrome.
It's like
you're not stepping. You're just not stepping on each other's toes.
You'll be like, oh no, I'll pay, or the girl will be like, well, maybe this is sexist, but sometimes the girl will say, oh no, I'll pay. And then the guy says, oh, no, I got it.
Put your wallet away.
And it's like, all right, we all knew that was going to happen. It's like, why are we doing this weird dance?
That's true.
Just to get to a job.
I thought you were just like, just to get to second base.
But you know what I mean? And then like in 3 weeks, when you have the job or when you're more comfortable with this girl or whoever it is you're dating,
of course,
then it's like you look back and you're like, that was silly. This whole thing was silly.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just weird.
Just
like the whole thing is really weird. I think that's a great point.
Like I'm going to sit down with a potential hiring manager, talk with them face to face, interviewing, even though I'm not being my real self.
Yeah.
You know? Because you're not your real self and you talk to somebody you don't know. and then in 3 weeks when I have the job, I'm going to be talking to the hiring manager. And it's going to be a completely different person.
It is weird.
So it's like,
that's like, but
that's weird.
That's
this whole
like,
thing is so weird.
I think Chris made a good point though. Like, what's the alternative here?
You're right.
Right.
It's just the facts of life, I guess.
All right, I have a question about your guys' resumes that our future roommate Matt was telling me about from the film episode. He said that, and he's in the film industry, so he said that, like, granted, it could be a little different, but he said that I should put the podcast on the resume, and I think he had a very good point about it, where he was like, two things. The first thing he said that someone looked at his resume and he was like, yeah, your resume is pretty good, but it's too serious, like. And he said like something that you have on the resume that shows you're like a regular person is good. And what Matt said about the podcast is that the podcast is like commitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like,
for sure.
Weekly podcasts. Like, obviously most people would glance and be like, okay, whatever. But there could be some people that are like, oh damn, like this guy, you know, he's dedicated to like something. True. You know, it's a real small thing. You know what I mean? But I think that's worth it for that little one sentence.
But to me, putting the podcast is equivalent to putting like, I like playing chess, or like it's a hobby or interest.
But that's what I mean. I actually think that's worth putting on.
See, I think
one of those what he told me.
You would have a hobbies and interests section. I feel like that's weird.
No, I wouldn't. I would put it under like a
qualifications. And
I guess
skills.
like the one that I have right now for it is like I'm like a marathon finisher. It's like kind of like an accomplishment, but it also shows that like it's like a little lighthearted.
So
I guess.
See, I
understand.
See, I like it. I like it.
From.
I guess I definitely think that like it doesn't have to be there, but I just like to have. I think I might put the podcast on just because it's like something that it doesn't apply to the job, but it's at least like
when it comes down to it though, it could. You can make anything.
Yeah,
you can
make
your job
not,
work for you. But
like,
I mean,
what section are you putting it in?
I don't know what I would put. Yeah. I'll have to make a subsection.
But what about marathon? Is that on there now?
Marathon, I just have is like personal achievements or something. I don't know, like just awards I've gotten. Soccer trophies as a kid.
Cool.
Yeah. See, I see I don't have like a hobbies or interests, but I could honestly see like
I know it's
enjoys running.
Here's the thing,
just like a small thing, right?
I don't have
the reason I have marathon on there is because like also a bunch of people that are like older than us, like. I mean, like any hobby, some people are really into running marathons,
sure.
right? If someone sees that I run a marathon, that literally could be like, cool, like, I want to talk about that.
And I think that's why
I mean?
Like, I don't have marathon runner, but I do have the club that I was in, that was treasurer of that I talked about. I was a running club, and it was like a cool, like, they're like, oh, what is this? And I'm like, oh yeah, like we like, I like managed this budget, and I ran marathons for charity, and they're like, oh, whoa. This guy's, you know.
I guess what I'm saying is something like that, right? Like your thing on there like that and putting the podcast or putting on a small fact to most companies, maybe even like upwards of 95% will just gloss right past it.
The
and
worst
it's
nothing.
nothing.
Worst it's nothing.
Exactly.
The
and then at 2 to 5%, it's like, maybe I would put this guy above to get an interview.
The podcast though, I could see. I don't think I'll ever have it, just because I'm sure I've said some terrible things. But I think that you could frame it like.
That's a good point. I guess I wouldn't want like, a potential employer to listen to an episode unless it's like, I don't know. That'd be so funny if like
that's what would make me
all right, like we'll listen to one episode. Like, what would you pick? I'd be like,
yeah. Even though that's like,
but you're right.
but it's like you could word it like
I'm an audio engineer.
Yeah, like
no, but that's lying.
No, it's not because I mean,
I have history in like whatever you call this audio editing or something.
Yeah,
like
I recorded, edited, and like produced a podcast with hundreds of episodes with thousands of listeners and
nice
2 lesser co-hosts.
Yeah, 2 bad co-hosts. I mean, when it comes down to it, like it's not like we're not making a killing off of the podcast, but we get it. We have a small little revenue stream from this, so it's
we have like
you're managing a business. I mean, it's a stretch, but for an interview sake,
it's a stretch. But
that's why you're too corporate, Chris. Yeah. You're on the side of this fake world that we live in.
But Chris is right in a sense. Like,
wait, hold on. Here's what I want to happen. Alex, you're the interviewer. Chris, I have podcasts.
I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. I just wish it wasn't this way. All right, sorry. What were you gonna say?
So ask the question to me as if you're reading my resume.
Let's see, Chris. Okay. A lot of stopgap jobs. Okay. What's this here? Let me put my spectacles. A podcaster?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, so me and my friends decided to start one. We did
Is that like Comcast?
It's similar. But you could say like
I agree.
You could say it's like we were hosting our own radio show. We edit it, produce it ourselves, comes out every week, and we have a fan base, and it's like a fun little side hustle.
I guess what I'm thinking is
excuse me,
I wink at them.
Side hustle, I guess. Wink, wink.
And I guess like they say all money is green. Don't you understand?
I'm like, it's only going to take up to 5 to 9. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, See, to me, I agree with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes back to
That's true.
You're only putting so much information on
Yeah,
there.
I
Everything wants
agree.
to pack a
That's why I
punch.
said like one line or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a point of like,
I
you
know,
know,
I
take
agree.
the edge off a bit. Like,
Yeah.
and then I like, well, this isn't my resume, but and then I competed in the weightlifting, nationals and won. And then
Right.
I did a
like you were listening
triathlon.
along.
And
Yeah.
then I did like, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. Like, or whatever, like more qualified
Yeah, I
stuff,
know.
right?
Like,
And then
more hobbies.
And then I won a hackathon is like a comp sci thing, right? And then I don't know, like was voted most likely to succeed in
That's
high
it.
school.
You're
and then
overdoing it with the
and it's like,
fun facts.
Yeah. Pick
But
pick
now-
one.
what about just a regular small thing?
Now my brother,
And even if that crazy person said like, and I also like rock climbing, it's still
Exactly.
just a little bit like,
But at the same time,
okay, like,
yeah, and
a
I
little
think
less crazy.
I do think a lot of those things can come out in the interview though, because like I've found
Agreed.
almost every interview I've had some sort of time. Oh, where are you from? Oh, you're from here. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is, and it's somehow like you'll get
Yeah.
into little things about you that aren't job
are you
related.
gonna get into the I like rock climbing in a job interview? Unless they ask you what your hobbies are.
No, I wouldn't. But
I
like,
feel like you
that's the
often
thing.
get
It's
asked
But
exactly
if
what I'm
you
saying.
put
If
in-
you have it
if
on the
you put in
resume and
podcasts-
it's like a 2 to 5% of people, right, will eventually will say like potentially,
It opens the door
you do
for more
podcasts.
questions
Then you
like
can
that.
say yes, and I would feel very comfortable talking about
Definitely,
what I've
yeah.
done with this podcast and how I've grown it and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Similar with a marathon.
The other thing I'm starting to think I'm going to do this too. Maybe
Yeah.
not the podcast, but
Sure,
something
it's just something. It
But
doesn't
I
have to
remember
be
my
the
brother
podcast.
was saying, or I forget what it was, but he was looking at resumes, and someone was putting like the colon parenthesis, like smiley face, in their resume.
That's insane. I think
That to me,
It's kind of fun though.
if I saw that in a resume, I would say, "Oh, this person's not taking this seriously." And I'm afraid if I co-host a podcast, someone would say,
Yeah.
"Oh, this person's not taking
I
this
see
seriously."
both. I think it depends on the
No,
job.
I don't
too.
think so. I don't think so. Who would say that?
'Cause-
Why would you
well-
You
say
agree
that?
with the emoji thing, though, right?
Yeah,
But here's like I think
Yeah.
if I said like when I was in college I hosted a radio
It's certainly
show.
different.
I think
Yeah,
it's a similar
certainly
kind of
different.
thing.
It's
to a
certainly
podcast.
different.
I don't know. I think can I give you a little insider thing I did when I was applying to jobs?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm still not sure if it was a good idea, and I only did it like half the time. But in my cover letter, towards the end, I'd say like, this
boy.
is how you could reach me. I'm open to this job and any other things, and then I'd say like something along the lines of like I'm ready to hit the ground running. Just like basically like something in those words like I'm ready to work.
I know. See, it's interesting because I feel like that.
I think it made me
I
a
like that for
little
some reason.
unique.
I don't know
that
why.
depends on the hiring manager. Like
That's
I
true.
bet
Yeah.
some hiring like if someone did that to me, I'd be like, all right, this person's like you said, unique or interesting.
Yeah, I would just.
But
be like,
other people would
stupid but good. Like,
other
yeah.
people would be like, come on, and then pass.
But we're moving past that, right?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. It's like saying like, oh, so many people are like, I don't know, like the political climate, right? Like there are like people are growing into this like exceedingly liberal base, but you'd still say like, be careful who that this is a bad example,
Where's
but you know
this
what I mean. What I'm getting at is that like there's so many like
Yeah, you
old
shouldn't-
like old money managers, right? Like what we were saying, the beard thing is a better example. I'll go back to this, but
well,
have-
we haven't talked about the video
Okay.
yet. Saving it for the end.
whatever. What
I
I'm
know
saying,
what
what I'm saying,
you're saying you don't let it stop you just because those people are out there. Don't let
right,
it
like
stop you.
most people probably won't mind that you say I'm gonna hit the ground running, and if someone says like, oh, he said I'm gonna hit the ground running, sorry, we're looking for
into
like
the
the
shredder.
Yankees. That's a better example.
Well,
like
but-
the Yankees, like
Baseball?
pinstripes and clean shaven, and if you say like, hi, Mr. Steinbrenner, I'm working and I'm only gonna have a beard, the Yankees will say, sorry, go to another team. Some
Yeah.
job will say, ooh, hit the ground running, a little unprofessional.
You're
Chris.
not gonna
go to another team.
You're not gonna give up on baseball,
Right.
Because you want to grow a beard.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it's you
I
got to
agree
think
with
of
that.
where you're working.
Sorry,
and
the political analogy didn't go.
it
anywhere.
did,
yeah, all of a sudden
Go
you
ahead.
just started making fun of my beard at one point.
but it's like I think I don't know, like you got to like the place you work, and if
I
those
agree.
type
I
of people
was
are
gonna
going to be the
say.
people you work with,
That's what I
you're not
mean.
gonna
That's
like
It's
exactly
like,
what I mean.
It's like dating.
Yeah.
If I can't tell
if you
a
don't
girl,
like my Tinder line,
yeah, if I can't tell a girl, hey, yeah, I've got a podcast, all right, then what's the point of even like if you hide it for so long, then you're not gonna because you know the girl doesn't like it, then it's pointless to even date them because that's part of you. It's like a
Right.
job. If you're gonna apply for a job that you know does not appreciate you or something, it's gonna be
Yeah,
a bad
like if
fit.
you're gonna apply to a job where you would feel guarded regarding your personality,
Right.
you
It's like a
probably
bad
won't like
fit.
it. That's why I think I want to be a teacher in the future because like I said, I like working with kids. I like being like I don't know, kind of like loud and a little like out there and maybe not like super
Yeah.
suit and tie. I don't know. You know what I mean?
So you're saying you're specifically applying for a stopgap job right now until you can be a teacher?
I guess so. Yeah, in a different
See,
kind
I
of way.
kind of
but
agree with
yeah.
that. I don't think I would ever want to be a teacher, but it does scare me. Like, I feel like people turn sad when they have like a serious job
Yeah.
for a long time.
I'll be honest. I think you need to like.
I'm talking specifically about Chris.
Well, I mean, I think that there are people who can have a job that just consumes them, and then if they don't like it, they don't like it. But I mean, like I said, it's 40 of your 100 something hours.
It's tough, and like it's like another.
It's plenty of time. Plenty of time. Like if you like, even when you have your job, if you like spending time with kids, that sounds weird. But if you like, say you like, you could always like work one night at like an after school, something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
that's sad.
I know people who do things like that and they love it.
Well, what I was gonna say is like the job thing to me is like that the classic thing, like it's like never stop dating your wife, like like go on a date with you ever heard that or no?
Yeah.
Like like go on dates with your wife and like surprise your wife, blah blah, just stuff like that. Dating advice.
These are quotes from Andrew's wife.
Yeah, the stuff my wife has told me. But it's kind of like that with your job. Like just don't like if you go to your job and you're just like, all right, job time, and then like can't wait for that's good. That's not good, but it's certainly okay for I would even say like 10 years or something. It sounds bad, but like if you don't like your job for a certain amount of time, you can deal with it. But at a certain point, you're gonna be like, dang, this is terrible. You know what I mean? Who knows when that switch will flip? But that's what you're saying, Alex. Like
I'd also say like when you have a job, you have to acknowledge like life is not always easy, and your job's not always easy. I've had plenty of days where I've left and been like, screw this place. Like today sucked. And then, but then I'm like, when it comes down to it though, they pay me a good amount of money to do this. Like, I don't know, you just need to, everything needs to be in perspective. Like
I just want to be an Instagram model.
Hell yeah.
One day.
Stopgap. Oh, is this a stopgap, Mom?
Another tip for interviews, I want to say. I think
I was going to ask about interviews.
Yeah, so interviews, here are my biggest tips. 1, remember names.
That's good.
I'm bad at that.
I hate when people say that, but I'll save that.
Well, I think
they're bad at it.
I hate when people say they're bad at names because I can't relate.
I think
I just don't get it.
I think I'm bad at names specifically in like an interviewee setting where I'm so nervous that I'm
for sure.
That's the last thing I'm thinking about.
That makes sense. I think you're pretty good with names otherwise.
No, I am typically, but I don't know if that's my biggest nightmare is having like a 3-person like few different interviews and then at the end having like an HR person be like, all right, now name all of the
That's really funny.
But I think the most important thing for an interview is it shouldn't be like they're just questioning. Like you should ask not as many questions, but you should have a lot of questions because when it comes down to it, you're interviewing them too. That makes
because it makes you seem less desperate for a job.
At least for like a non-stopgap job, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for like a retail
all these
job
we're talking
or
nonstop.
something.
I feel like we're talking nonstop.
Yeah, true.
No matter what. But what questions are you gonna ask? Because honestly, I'm not like I especially for where we're the move now. Like I kind of just want a job.
Yeah,
you know.
But I mean, if
that,
you gotta
actually,
I know you gotta like your job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That happened to me when I was starting at Home Goods. I wasn't prepared, like you were saying, to be prepared. And the guy said, like, "Do you have any questions for me?" I remember I was like, "Huh." And then I just said, like, "Do you like it here?" And he like laughed. Was like,
that's a good
it's
question.
Like, yeah,
no, that's
like,
the perfect question.
He was like, "It's like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad." Kind of like what you said. But he's like, "But yeah, I like it here." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like,
I think another thing, like,
just something
to be aware of, and I know you guys are gonna hate this, especially Andrew.
Okay.
But like, be aware of the fact that like people know that you're researching them. So like I had one company in particular I was applying to in college. I didn't end up getting the job, but I went to the interview and I knew the girl who was like my person. I knew kind of like her career path. Like I knew she had been in my role before.
Like that.
So I think you have to ask like.
But I understand what you're saying.
But like things like that, like do you? Like,
so you're gonna confess like.
No,
that's different.
I think it's saying like
that's like a regular like Chris in the Wild would be doing that for sure. Like
probably.
Wait. In the interview, did you say like
did
you like it when you were here?
I like led it that direction.
Though. But you could still say like
I'd say like what's the typical career path? Like where did you start in your turn?
Yeah,
that's good.
And like how did you like?
That's good actually.
I think that's
because according to my paperwork, it's just a bunch of pictures of her.
Her like in college.
We've talked about this before. Like you would do something where. Like you'd see someone and you like know where they're going to school or something, but you don't want to be creepy, so you just say like, "Oh, like what are you up to now?" And like just waiting for them to like confirm what you already know.
Oh, I've done that definitely.
Yeah,
but I think you have to ask.
I don't like LinkedIn,
but at the same I think that kind of question is the most important. Like, because they'll ask you probably like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I think it's very good to know if you were at the company in 5 years, where would you be?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
The 5-year question.
Because I'd say the job I had now, I knew the right answer to that, like hypothetically, like the career path, like if I said what I'd be
I don't know, but is it that crazy to not
No, it's
commit
not
to a job for
Right,
5 years.
I know.
Like
That's not what they want you to hear. That's
in an interview, you have to say
you got to be honest.
You can't be like,
or you got to be like
You gotta
serious.
not be honest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
Yeah. I think, and you don't need to directly say like, in 5 years I see myself at this company doing this, but you can say like, I'm really interested in this. I'd like to be at this stage of my career. Do you guys have anything like that? I don't know.
I think you just gotta be. You gotta stay honest, but to a point for most of the questions. Like the 5-year thing, like it's like if I stayed at this job where I would want to be in 5 years, or if I stayed in a similar career where I would want to be in 5 years. But in reality, I could see myself doing a completely different career in 5 years.
Yeah,
like,
which is fine.
I don't know. We're still young,
and they know
so it's
that.
tough to
like,
answer a 5-year question.
If I told them like definitively this is where I see this is what I will be doing in 5 years, I'm sure they would think I'm crazy.
Right.
Like I told them like
this is where I disagree with you. I think there's like a good portion of jobs that would love that answer. That's my like beef with jobs.
I have no clue.
No, to say like actually like this is my life plan, I feel like a lot of people would like respect that.
Because they don't.
Where for me, I would be like, that's crazy.
I feel like a lot of the big companies
depends on the way you say it. I think
they don't care about you as a person.
Probably
they
not.
want you to fill that
You're
seat
a cog
and do
in
that
the
job
machine,
for 5 years.
I think that's true.
And that's sad.
Yeah, I think
That's
it's sad
where
when
we're at.
like.
But Chris is on the other side.
Yeah.
Chris doesn't.
Chris
agree
has
with
seen
us.
the other end.
Chris is
Yeah.
buttoning up his shirt to the top button, no tie.
I'm unbuttoning the
And
bottom
we're,
8.
we're the cool guys on the other side of the table saying 5 years, I'm gonna be hitting the bricks, man.
Well, like it's just I feel like we've talked about this off pod too, but it's what we both of us want with our careers. Like my dad, for instance, has had the same job for like 40 years, or no, not quite that long, but he got a job out of grad
years.
school. Yeah, since he was born.
And it's
grocery store.
Honestly, I don't love that. I would not want that.
I think it was more popular in that generation. But like Chris, no offense, but I could see you doing that. Like not like totally.
I don't think there's anything.
I don't
think there is anything wrong with that.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You don't need to say no offense.
Well,
I think it's just a different type of person.
I don't know. I feel like whatever.
I feel like I am offended.
I know. I personally wouldn't
what
like
I mean
it.
is that like if someone's like, oh, like you think like Chris is gonna leave his job, I'd probably be like, nah, like. Like not until
my coworkers.
Where like anyone else, I could be like, yeah, like maybe soon, but like I could literally see this go for like 10 years, and you'd still say like, yeah, it's fine, like it's good, I'm having fun, like
I think,
and that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
But that's why I think we have different perspectives.
I think you gotta see how things fit in your career. When I was in college, like senior year of college, there was a solid couple months where my game plan for after college was to teach English in another country.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
It didn't happen. Do I regret not doing it? Sometimes.
I think it's a little basic, to be honest.
I do cool. But it's like I think you need to understand like what I say.
We're coming at everyone.
Like that's like when
if you have any kind of job.
No.
But also
this
like
is not an insult, but I think some people that travel a lot and they go to like the classic European countries and they're like I'm interesting because I travel so much. It's like, come on, that's what everyone who thinks they're interesting does. That's basic.
I can get behind that.
You know what I mean?
But I'd say like you said, like, and then freshman year of college, I was a psychology major, and now I don't use that at all. So it's like, I think that's 3 years ago. Who knows? 3 years from now, maybe I'm doing something totally different.
That's true. It's true. I feel like the way you said like depends how it fits in your career. I feel like
maybe not just career, but I meant to say like your life.
I feel like when you start a job. You turn into this like cult or job that you're supposed to see yourself being in for a long time.
Yeah,
it's like you joined this cult.
That's definitely true.
Everyone's just okay with the fact that like, oh yeah, the next 10 years of my life are laid out. Like
you talk about
why are you okay
we've
with
talked
that?
about this
That's
before,
weird.
Alex, because it's a big theme in like the book, The Little Prince, which we had mentioned.
Yeah,
but like
book.
The whole point of the book is like, well, not the whole point, but a big part of it is that the little prince goes and he meets these different types of adults, and there's some of them are so like focused on what they're doing that they can't even think about other things. And like that's truthfully like my greatest fear. That's why I think like having a job that you're passionate about is like so good.
Yeah.
Like I'm only 24 years old. Years young,
That's
some
true.
would say. I don't want to make my choice for the next until I'm 34.
That's true.
Right now.
That's what scares me about when people say they're doing like PhD program. That's a long time.
Yeah.
But like it's the same thing. Like if that's what they want to
that's what you want to do, then great. Yeah.
And I think
that's
like
the thing. Yeah. I just know it doesn't fit for me.
Yeah.
I think you need to find a balance.
I applied to all the PhD programs I didn't get in.
I'll say though, I'm a kind of person who recently I've been having trouble like stepping away from work at times. I think you need to find a work that's a good work-life balance. Not that my work is it's not like crazy out, but I'm always like thinking about it, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It means I'm like passionate about it, I care about it. But I don't know.
But
I think that's
I would
important.
want it to be a job that I liked, that I'm thinking about all the time. Like, I don't want to work in some like number crunching job and be like, on a Saturday when I'm hanging out, be like, oh wait, you know what? I wonder if I should have been doing this.
Yeah.
Like, that
But
to me like is sad.
I've actually, and recently I've been doing this too as like a way to get something for an interview, but I've been working on this personal project that like I've been really like passionate about, and like I just like it, and it's probably boring to a lot of people, but for me it's like exciting. And if your job is like that, like I enjoy thinking about that in my spare time, because
that's
I'm
like
just
your
like,
hobby.
ooh, maybe I'll like add this improvement and this improvement, you know, and it's like
like
silly, but that's different. Like here it
It's
is,
like
here
that,
it is. Make your job your hobby.
I agree.
What about that?
It's like that
I'm into that.
documentary. Listeners at home know about, well, but they don't know about Brockhampton.
I don't know
There's
if
this
they
documentary, and they talk about how like it's about this like group that's making music, and they talk about how like they work this like long day, like 12-hour day, just making music.
Yeah.
And they're like, dang, like it didn't even feel like work. It was awesome. And they're like, yeah, like if you were working a 9-to-5 job, you'd still go at home at the end of the day and do that same thing. That's how you know like this is what you should be doing.
True.
Yeah.
So if you're like packing expense reports, and at the end
they
of the
did
day
say
you
that.
go home and you're like, oh, I just want to do some more expense
Yeah.
reports. Then that's what you know you
Then
should be
that's
doing.
great.
Just
Yeah.
have
Like, if you want to do like people's taxes all day, like
right.
I don't want to do that, but good for you. And guess what?
Exactly.
That's a lucrative career too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's what they were saying. Like in the thing, right? One of the producers said like, right? Like, didn't he say like, I wonder, or I wish I had, or I forget. It was something about like, sometimes I wish like this, just the stability of a regular job was like better for them. And then the guy said like, yeah, you know, you'd still be doing this all night
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah,
So it's
you would have
like,
came home and done the same thing. It's like, that's great.
yeah. So yeah, that's so perfect. So
See,
it's
I feel like this episode matches so perfectly with the personal finance.
it does.
episode.
Yeah.
Because like
Just
you said,
a realization.
Because I think when we started this episode, we thought it was going to be more about like the actual interviewing process and stuff.
Yeah.
But I
Right.
like the way it went.
Yeah,
It's just
same.
about like
any of us could have gone and been like, all right, this is gonna sound ignorant. I don't know. I don't want to say it, but like we could have gotten like a high-paying job if we're in high school or college. We're like, all right, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to do this.
Right.
But like,
I'd say
cares?
that we
Like-
were like, I'd say we're very fortunate. The opportunity that us three have had
Oh, yeah.
growing up is
I
like
didn't
very,
mean
I'm
it
very
like that.
fortunate about that. Like being able
but
to
you
go
know
to
what I
college
mean.
and
Like,
being supported.
yeah, like, but
I know what you
I
mean.
want to do something I like for a while. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. As long as you're not stupid with your money. Personal finance episode.
oh yeah,
Then like you'll be fine doing something that's like fun for a while.
that's true.
Hey,
And
it's no stopgap.
and it's all a balance. So if you can find a job that's maybe only a 7 on the fun scale, but is a
Right.
10 on the pay scale, maybe you do
Right.
that.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
versus a job that's a 10 on the fun scale, but a 1 on the pay scale. You
Right.
just need to find a good balance.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's stressing me
Dang.
out.
10 on the phone scale, 1 on the pay scale. What is that? Like a
I'd still do
like
it.
a rock
probably.
climber?
I was gonna say, I was literally gonna say that's me like volunteering at like to just. It's honestly this podcast, but right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
it
thing.
is,
I
it
have
is.
to do it. It's on. Like if I skipped a week, people would get mad at me.
Yeah.
You two and our thousands.
It's
of
certainly a
fans.
1 on the pay scale.
Yeah, I don't know if it
that.
quite is a
If
10
that.
on the phone, but it's. I mean, I do it for a reason.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
true.
that's
like,
great. That's a great way to put it. It's like right. Like if you got an offer that was like, hey, we'll pay you like significantly more money, and you're gonna have significantly less fun.
And you can't have a podcast.
You
Honestly,
probably got to
yeah,
do it.
It depends on the job for sure, but it
Yeah.
would be a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we're too young to be like, yeah, I'll become a slave for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I think you're about that too, Chris. Like, obviously, you didn't want to move with us this time, but like, I definitely don't see you as like this is my job and I'm loyal. You know,
Yeah.
like some people are weirdly loyal to their
I
jobs.
agree.
I
would
think.
say,
don't know.
like I said, like I am
I
very
agree with
into
that.
my work these days. I love it. I like have fun with it. I probably spend too much time doing it. But it's like I think I'm learning a lot of skills there that I could apply to other jobs.
Yeah.
I could apply to different roles in this company. I'm fortunate that I think for me that I work at a big company where I could do a different job every year or two. Keeps
Right.
it interesting. And they have different locations, so if I wanted to move around or something. But at the same time, there are some jobs that you show up and it's like I have friends who have a job that they're like, if I show up and I put headphones in and I sit there for 8 hours and I'll never get promoted. That's just not part of the job. I don't know.
I would love a job where I could sit down and like
Listen to podcasts.
listen to podcasts all the time, though, honestly.
yeah,
I wish.
like Chris, you do the. What did you ever decide
The single
the one
earbud?
headphone or the super
Oh,
low?
yeah.
super low volume.
If I do it, I do one headphone,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
sparingly.
Nice.
Only if it's important.
All right, real quick.
Yeah, we need a lightning round.
We got to get to the
ratings.
beard talk.
Oh yeah.
This
Yeah.
might go too long.
I'll
I say that
say
every episode.
I'll
All
say
right.
when I was
All right, here's the question. It'll be a lightning round.
lightning round. Lightning round.
I don't want to shave it because I think it's going to make me look too young. And I talked about this with someone.
Yeah.
I'm applying for these
I think we're
jobs.
fine.
If you look young when you apply for jobs, it makes you look less qualified for the job.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to keep it how it is because it's too messy, and
Mm-hmm.
the job force doesn't like that.
I think when I was applying to jobs, I've never been, like had a beard. Well, I every job interview I've ever had, I've clean shaven my face. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
Because
normal, I think.
I didn't have a beard in college.
Right.
These days I do every now and then, but I think if you look clean, that's the
I think
only
that's what it
important
comes
thing.
down to. I'm afraid when
Like I think you showing up with that beard just as is better than you showing up with no beard and like a stain on your shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. And
I don't know.
I mean, I'll definitely get a haircut.
When it comes down
Another
to it,
thing-
that's what, like, I can't imagine people saying, especially the types of jobs I'm assuming you're looking
Yeah.
for, being like, yeah, great job, but showed up with
It's
a
just
beard.
different
Yeah,
these
that's
days.
true,
Like
that's true.
I actually read or I heard
Might
my friend
honestly
told me
help.
that.
Like,
Yeah,
you guys moving
that's
to
true.
Brooklyn, I think it might help a
Yeah.
lot.
That's what everyone's saying.
Like
yeah.
I heard my friend told me that 47% of people like either our age or our generation have a tattoo, like of millennials
Yeah.
or something.
Right.
And it's like if I see someone with a tattoo when I'm getting a like job interview, almost anything I would be fine with. You know,
Yeah.
really it would have to be like
offensive.
basically like a vulgarity on their face,
Yeah, I was
or
gonna say, like a face
like yeah. Then I would be like, okay, maybe there's an issue, but like. I would even say, like, even if they have, like, a face tattoo, I mean, obviously I wouldn't agree with
a
that.
face tattoo of a beard.
But, like,
Yeah.
I definitely don't think
It's
I
a-
would
yeah.
rule them out. If there was, like,
See, like,
weird writing or something.
Would you shave right now if you were gonna get an interview?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say I think that looks
No,
fine,
it's fine.
but I think
Yeah.
a lot of people would say like, "Oh, he didn't shave before the interview." I don't think.
Well,
hiring managers would say that. but
I guess maybe
outside
you're
people.
like that too, but I think I look very young when I'm clean shaven, and that freaks me out. You know, I think I could play a high schooler in a movie if I'm clean shaven.
Yeah, people have told me like
That's the job you're
that I
applying
look
for.
too like at work like, oh, what are you 18 or something? Like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not 18.
That's frustrating.
I have a beard, for God's sakes. No, not now, but I don't know. So I'm afraid there's no going back.
I'll say it. I think a beard's fine for you.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay.
You got to make your beard work for you.
I'm expecting us to move to Brooklyn, and then when we come back, and Chris just has like a huge beard. He's
I
like,
hope so.
that'd be cool.
Everyone's been telling me like, dang, like, why are all guys growing beards now? I don't think it's any different than 5 years ago, is it?
No, I think it is.
You think it's more?
Yeah, beards are like more in now.
There's
definitely.
that brief like
That's great.
yeah, I feel like beard oil's a thing.
Beard
That's
like
true.
beards became like the bacon of like 2015.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying I think that happened. I thought that happened like a while ago. I didn't think it was like 2018 when it happened.
I think it was
or
like
even
2015 or
2016.
something.
I think it went bacon, beards, dad bods.
Oh,
Back
God.
to beards.
All right. Let's hop into our next topic for
Yeah.
Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So that was the job hunt.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
love talking to you guys about the job hunt. The next section of the show is called.
Nothing to rate or no?
Oh yeah, I guess. Ooh.
Maybe not. Let's not.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Yeah, let's wait. Till
I'd
we
say
get a job.
I would say
Let's look till we get a job, yeah.
definitely though. If you guys have any tips, email us. Email
I would
them
rate
in.
it low because it's
Yeah.
like stressing me out.
I agree.
Yeah, agreed.
I think I kind of like the gaming the system bit of it.
Yeah, I can tell you.
I can tell. Yeah, you were
treat
getting
it as a
like,
hobby.
ooh, yeah.
yeah.
LinkedIn.
But and I would say like I said, I'm not looking for a job, but I do look at LinkedIn and I like to look at like what people are doing. I don't know. That's
like no,
something
I think
fun.
that's weird as that is. Like LinkedIn is somehow like a social
It
somehow like you were saying, Alex, like people paid for it, but like somehow LinkedIn is more or less a social networking site
know,
that
yeah.
has become like universally respected
I
for
know.
whatever reason. But that's my
great.
take on
I
it.
love it.
Whatever.
I think what I want. You ever hear about the people that like know how to make like a perfectly woven basket and they sell it for like thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do that, so I could just do whatever I want. But every once in a while, I'll look at my bank account and be like, "Ooh, gotta throw together another basket, throw a basket together," and then I'm loaded again. I can do whatever I
Yeah,
want.
Yeah.
that's nice.
That's
Or just be an Instagram model. All right, let's hop into what's on your mind. It's a section where we like to talk about what's on your mind. Luckily, we usually get a theme submitted from a listener of the show. This one comes from Bad Girl Riri.
Work, 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 work. You see me heavy work, 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 work. You see me do me dirt, 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 dirt.
Thanks, Bad Girl Riri. All right. We like to start a little what's on your mind with a listener submitted what's on your mind. This one comes from listener of the show, Judith. The subject of the email is That Ice Cream Girl. What's on my mind? Hey, guys. So I have a bit of a dilemma. I recently started a new job, heyo,
perfect.
and have been trying to get to know my coworkers. My company does this thing where managers send an email to everyone when someone new starts with a brief introduction and any hobbies/interests that person has. Now we're talking. This
No challenges?
Yeah, come on. Any hobbies, interests/beer mile times that person has. I mentioned to my manager that I like ice cream, and she put that in my email. And ever since then, it seems like it's all people can talk to me about. I met a higher up executive, and he talked to me about ice cream places in Boston for at least an hour. And I've been getting emails from people giving me ice cream recommendations. I'm not sure if I want to be that ice cream girl, but I feel like my identity here is heading in that direction, and I'm worried. I'm worried I'm losing credibility. Let me know what you guys think. Frustrated emoji, like laughing but with sweat emoji.
Yeah.
And then it looks like there's 3 emojis of us. A scoop of ice cream, and it says, "Love the pod so much, I'll take 3 scoops."
Oh, that's
Wow,
cool.
that's
That is
nice.
creative.
Of Judith,
And then it says Judith.
Huh.
All right, what do you guys think about that? So she's been
Yeah.
known as, I think this is a common problem.
My
for
initial
yes.
take. My initial take here is, I see where she's coming from.
What a good problem to have.
But I think, I
She's
think
getting
good.
scoops left
I
and
think
right.
good. I also think it's like I don't know. It's kind of like literally just like a new kid, right? It's like they
You got to give them
like
time.
literally
to,
just like
to warm up.
in my opinion, like you won't be that ice cream girl. At least right now, that's like I don't know. It seems pretty cool that the boss even like emails out like, "Hi everyone," like
That seems like a great place.
you
to
know,
work.
like
and it's a way to like get your foot in the door to conversations.
exactly
Yeah,
like so that
that's
the
true.
higher up guy, you know, like what you were saying, Chris.
Yeah.
You said you get all sweaty during interviews, right? You have to unbutton your shirt except for the top button.
That's so funny.
Judith is probably
Yeah.
feeling great when she's
Wait, what does that have to do with?
well when she's talking.
Chris is unbuttoning his shirt.
No, I'm talking to a higher.
and she says, "Hey, you look hot. You need some ice cream?"
talking to a higher up.
Yeah.
Chris might get nervous. All of a sudden, the higher up's
Yeah.
talking about
Talking
your
about ice
favorite
cream.
hobby,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Or
nice.
something like
I might
that,
have
you know?
told you guys this story, but I kind of these days am the runner just because like
Yeah.
I did a marathon not too long ago. People know about it, and I told like the highest up guy
Yeah,
who
you
I
mentioned this.
interact with, kind of like my boss's boss's boss, just in a conversation. I was running a marathon that weekend, and then I later see him with like his boss's boss's boss.
Ugh, your
Check.
great grand boss.
It's the
Yeah.
president of the United States.
It's like one of the presidents that come in, and I walked by, just saw him, just gave a nod, just like. To
I
tell
mean,
his
this is
business.
like 7 bosses up. I
Yeah,
would be very,
and then
very nervous
He goes,
here.
he's like, "Hello, Mr. Day," and my last name, I don't know if I've ever said it on pod. Not gonna edit it out. And he goes, "Mr. Day's a marathoner. Ran one this weekend."
That's like putting it on the resume.
And
That's
then the
like
guy was
same
like,
thing.
"Oh, that's great. Yeah, I did one once." So I was like, "Oh yeah." He's
Yeah,
like,
that's
boom,
good.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if I ever see him again,
But like, if you ever see him
give him a
again,
nod.
You toss him a tub
but
of
that's
gas.
the thing. Like, you might be the marathon guy, but I don't see a
Yeah.
problem with that. You
because
know
it's
what
like,
I mean?
say I am with this company for 10 years, and I'm in a
Yeah.
position where I am talking to this guy. He's like, "Oh yeah,
All right,
like,
Yeah.
all right, but we gotta.
I'm not trying to think.
I gotta
about that.
say, running now. Listen, I
Oh
love
yeah,
ice
you are the
It's
ice cream
different.
guy.
I
It's
love
different.
ice
Yeah,
cream
it
as
is
much as the
different.
next girl, but running a marathon is like it feels like an achievement.
And it
Liking
also
ice
is
cream,
like-
it's.
I
I
feel
understand
like
what she
running a
says.
marathon
That's
is
true.
like you can only talk so much about it, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas like ice cream, we did an episode
All right,
on
well
it.
then let's get off the marathon.
It's incredibly expansive.
Not the
you know
best.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Not the
Like,
best
true.
example, but you're right.
Like you
But-
could talk about ice cream like over and over
Me
again.
specifically, I know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Well, I would also say I don't think that anyone is gonna look down on her as the ice cream girl. I know of a girl at my work who is kind of the donut girl in my mind. People always
no.
talk about how much she likes donuts. I don't think that means she's bad at her job. Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I think it's
that's
kind
good
of
from your perspective.
It
That's
honestly
good to
makes
hear,
me
though.
like her more, knowing that
Yeah.
cool, she's a donut cyclist.
I think Judith does not have anything to worry about right now. But because you're right, it helps you get in the door to new conversations. Because eventually you could tell this email.
And when it comes down to it, if she truly does like ice cream, she's gonna
it's
get some
great,
good ice cream
she's gonna get
spots.
some great recommendations.
Yeah, well, I can definitely also see it just being like, I like
frustrating.
ice cream, I guess. You
Yeah,
know,
it's-
and then
You
it's
ever
like,
have chocolate?
ice cream. Yeah.
It's like when you're in an ice breaking activity and it's like say a fun fact.
Yeah.
And you like have a hard time thinking of one, so you say like I like ice cream, and then for the rest of the time they're like, hey, moose tracks. It's like, yeah, I like. Moose
I hate that so
tracks
much
too.
because I hate fun. The fun fact thing is so hard for me for some reason
I
because
can't
like
sum up my life.
you don't
want
to brag, but
I
you don't
agree.
want a lame fact. So
Yeah.
then all of a sudden your options are incredibly limited. I
Right,
always
so
feel
what
like.
what would be your if you worked for Judith's company and
Mm-hmm.
and they said, hey, Andrew, tell us a little bit about yourself. What would you be? for you?
Oh, jeez, I don't know. I have no idea. That actually just gave me
I might
anxiety.
say, like, I
I
like
would
ice
probably
cream.
say I like running. Is
Yeah.
probably what I would say. That's
I
like my
like
go-to.
that too. I like
also
running.
feel like
Not I've run a marathon. You don't. It's less. It
Yeah.
doesn't come up as
Yeah,
bad.
yeah. But it still like gets you into that like, oh, that's the office runner, you know?
That's true.
Which,
But that's
I
would be
understand.
okay with that. I
I
guess.
understand
don't
where
know.
she's coming from, but I think you just have to wait it out.
I definitely see. Yeah,
Because
I
you're
think
only the office runner for a
I don't
while,
know.
and you have to be
Right.
assertive
And then,
in saying
guess
other
what?
stuff that you want.
Guess what? Alex cancels the move. He comes in and says, "Hi,
I'm the ice cream boy now.
I'm Alex, and I really like ice cream." All of a sudden,
boy.
I love it even.
you're in the clear.
Or even you show up and then you
then
get,
they
you
set
get
us
introduced
up.
to Judith.
Yeah, I'm imagining a
Ice cream
scenario where
people.
they all talk about ice cream to Alex, and they're like, "Judith, do you have anything to say? I know you like ice cream too." Just like waiting, like,
Yeah.
please talk to this guy.
And she's like, yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. Yeah.
All right.
I think it's good. What's on your mind? I think, like you said, Alex, I think it's a good problem.
It's a
to
good
have.
problem.
No,
to
but
have.
that
You just
I
gotta
would
wait it
also
out.
that is a true thing that's happened to me is people come, oh hey, this guy runs too, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's like
Just got to make sure it's the right thing.
it's
Yeah,
like that office, the episode
Rubik's
of the
Cube.
office where
I'll
they're
use
like
that.
they're like talking about everyone's religions, and the guy's like, yeah, but I also have like all these other interests.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
listen, I don't want to be known as the ice cream religion.
Yeah.
I have other interests too.
True.
Don't just make me one thing.
98 other interests.
Yeah, I sure do.
all of them
All right.
working at the 99.
Even the big E. All right, Chris, what's on your mind?
Here's what's on my mind: short, simple, sweet.
Yeah, I got one like
recently
that as well.
bought some Trader Joe's. I think it's called Everything But the Bagel seasoning.
so
Dude, I
good.
got that too.
I love it. It's the best.
It's good.
It's a
Great.
sandwich
It's good.
hack.
It's great.
You don't like it?
No, I do like it. I've put it on breakfast sandwiches. I think
Yep.
that's been my best use of it so far.
Mhm,
I'm just looking for other places to use it because I have a whole thing of it.
This might sound gross, but I put it on tuna fish sandwiches a lot. It's so
I
good.
could see that. So for fans of the show who don't know, it's basically think of an everything bagel, literally minus the bagel. It's in the title, but it's just the seasoning.
It's like salt, poppy seed,
Gar-
This
Maybe some
is
garlic.
this is
Garlic
weird,
for
but
sure.
one day I was feeling
onion
really
powder.
I was feeling really ambitious or whatever. I actually bought like some like salmon, and I put it on the salmon.
Ooh,
Whoa.
was it good?
Yeah, it was. I think it was like the same day. I bought like everything but the bagel and the salmon, and I was
Yeah.
like, let's do this.
Sounds
And
good.
it was good, yeah. But like mostly I had been doing it on breakfast stuff as well. I think I
Yeah.
did put it on my eggs a few times.
I put it on chicken and it's pretty good.
I think that texture is good.
I've only put it
Honestly,
on
texture.
sandwiches.
Really, I think the more the merrier.
It's so good though.
It is
Yeah.
good.
I mostly just wanted to tell people
It
about
sounds
the
like a
seasoning.
plug.
Everything but the bagel.
It's
yeah.
so good.
I think it's. I mean, it's not so good. It's just good.
I think
makes
more
any-
so. It's such a good idea.
Yeah, I agree.
It
with
makes
that.
any sandwich 5% better
Yeah,
at least.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
say.
I might just get one for like my desk at work because every now and then we'll just get a sandwich, start shaking some out onto it.
Shove it into your mouth like
Nice.
it's
That'd be
a
good.
cheese whiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
love
yeah,
it.
like
too.
like a breath mint or something, like every now and then.
I feel like we should have an episode of just kitchen hacks.
I would do an episode of just Trader Joe's. Honestly,
No.
we're running out of episodes.
All right.
I don't know if we can. fit it.
Andrew, what's on your mind?
All right, here's what's on my mind. Once again, short, sweet,
Sure.
simple.
All of a short and sweet, simple one
So
too.
I want to go home.
My friend asked me this the other day. Said, "Are sandals shoes?" I changed my answer halfway through. Trying to think of what it is now, though.
I
What do you
think-
guys think?
Right now, I'm thinking obviously yes.
Yeah,
think
I
that's-
think that was my original
Everyone
answer,
thinks
and
that
then
at
I
first.
and then I changed it. Yeah,
I think a slip-on sandal is certainly not a shoe. But
Certainly
it might,
not.
But it might be.
Where's the? I think there's
like,
no
I-
certainly not.
yeah,
That's-
I agree.
that's true,
But then
you're
I
right.
switched it. I actually
But I would say that one that surrounds your whole foot is more of a shoe. if
No,
that makes
no,
any
come on,
sense.
no.
I
That's a
don't
shoe.
know.
That's a straight up shoe.
Yeah.
what?
Like a Croc, you mean?
No, he's talking
Uh,
about like Tivas.
I don't
like
know. I think I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
don't know by name. Like a
yeah.
Jesus sandal.
No,
No,
don't
it's like
know.
it goes up here and stuff.
or like what are those called?
That's
Like
I'm for the folks at home, I'm touching my heel.
what are Birkenstocks? Are those?
Yeah,
things?
that's kind of what I'm
Ugh,
thinking
I
of.
don't know those either.
A Birkenstock.
I don't know
A
shoe.
good like leather, high
I'm
quality.
gonna look it up. I don't know shoe genres well. Birkenstocks.
Birkenstock.
Birkenstocks.
You got to wear some Birkenstocks for them.
Because here's my original thought was that shoes are all encompassing. You got like running shoes, sneakers, or whatever.
Well, at that point, feet are shoes.
you got skate shoes.
Barefoot
All right,
is a
these
shoe.
Birkenstocks are sandals.
Can I see them? That's what I thought you meant. Yeah.
That's a. I guess that is a.
Those
Jesus,
look like
those are
Jesus
sandal
sandals.
too.
Yeah,
I'm
I
thinking-
guess I don't know. what
But
my
there's a more
answer is.
specific sandal I'm thinking of that like goes up onto your heel and like has a strap kind of.
Yeah.
Like that girls have?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, I think I know what you mean.
I'm gonna look up sandal types.
All right. Well, anyway, the big question is that do you think that shoes encompass a sandal? Is a sandal a subgenre like sneakers, or is sandals its own
I
thing?
know that's interesting.
I actually think it's its own thing.
I
now.
am leaning towards saying it's its own thing.
I got a good picture of the Jesus sandal.
I think that,
Is this what you were talking about?
yeah, more or less.
That I think is.
That's,
all right,
that's a sandal. It's different.
it's still sandal, but I
would
think it's at least
Because I've
closer
seen
to
there
a
are some
shoe.
that are more like, do you know the Merrill brand ones that are like almost I can't really describe.
Hey, you know, some countries call them thongs.
them.
You guys know that?
True.
what?
They call a
I
sandal
think
a
Aussies
thong.
down in Australia they call them
I
thongs.
did-
They
know
call them
that.
thongs.
Oh, that's definitely not a shoe. I'll tell you that.
What?
Did you know I hope this is true, but in Hawaii I believe they call sandals slippers.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Would you call a slipper a shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not a sandal?
I
That's
think-
ins-
yeah,
all right,
I
that's
don't-
crazy.
I don't know.
I think the shoe has to be closed toe. I'm saying it now.
I agree.
I'm putting it on the record.
Oh, is that what you guys are thinking?
Yeah.
I
I'm
think that's
thinking
what's
more,
ending up being the deal breaker for
I was
me.
thinking
yeah.
more the loose heel is what's changing it for me.
I think
I guess,
footwear
right.
is the overarching word,
Right.
not shoe.
That's what we said. Footwear. Right. That's it. That's what I think now. I agree with
All
Chris.
right, interesting. You said this was gonna be short and sweet. It changed my whole life. I certainly don't sway either. I don't have a firm stance either way.
Yeah.
I'm still
Yeah.
leaning shoe, but I see where you guys are coming from.
I just
I'm gonna have
Googled-
to do
Not the
some
end of the
thinking on it.
What do you-
yeah, the definition of shoe just says it's
Oh, boy.
intended to protect and comfort the human foot while the wearer is doing various
Then
activities.
skin is a shoe.
Yeah, I agree. That's a bad definition.
Come on.
Also, just for mostly the hosts, but also our listeners, my most previously searched thing from before this is scallion pancake.
Yeah, I like that.
because of a conversation we had previously.
Yeah. I thought scallion pancakes were like latkes or
You
whatever.
said are scallion pancakes pancakes.
No, I
I
didn't.
think you have the same line of thought with this. What's in your mind?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
Yeah, interesting. Though.
All right. Go ahead, Alex.
All right.
What
I
you
feel,
got for
honestly,
us?
I feel like we could do a whole. What do you call a question like that? 'Cause
Yeah,
I feel
it's
like we
like
could do
a-
a whole episode and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Like
Like, is a smoothie a soup? That's for another conversation.
I would like to.
I think yes.
I would. That could be. How about our next episode that we do? What's on your mind? We'll each come with.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
with one of
wasted mine. we'll initiate with that. All
Yeah.
right. Here's what's on my mind. This has been on my mind for a while, and I still don't. It's another weird question that I don't know the answer to, and I feel like multiple people will. You guys will have strong opinions probably.
Yeah.
But multiple people have different
okay.
answers.
Go.
GYRO. The sandwich.
Yeah.
Sure.
How do you pronounce that?
Hero. Superhero, baby.
What do you say?
I typically will say gyro. I know it's wrong.
I don't think that's wrong.
Yeah,
I
it
don't-
is.
I don't think that's what I would say. People say gyro. People say euro.
Yeah,
I think euro is the most commonly accepted.
I think that's
It's
probably
definitely hero.
See, I knew you would have a strong opinion on it.
I think-
I think it is
I
literally.
think the
like-
Greek pronunciation.
is hero. I think.
I think I've heard gyro,
Yeah, I guess that's what I meant. What did I say?
but at
Euro?
the same time,
I've heard Cheerio.
but at the same time, like
I think in the UK it's Cheerio.
I think that it's kind of like
I'm embarrassed to order.
I say mozzarella. I don't say mozzarella. You know, Like,
you do that.
I
though,
do
with,
do
with,
that.
with Italian meats.
but
all
at the same
time.
time, like
Dude,
you-
gyro though. Come on. Gyro,
All right.
like Daisuke throwing the gyro ball. That's where you're at.
you mean
Yeah.
daisuke?
Good one. Good one.
Thank you.
I don't. I'm too embarrassed. I'm not confident enough to order it.
I think
It's my favorite meal. I've never ordered it.
I can only dream.
Here's a
I
here's
have
a
to
life hack.
pretend
Here's a
I'm
life
mute.
hack. Just pretend you can't talk.
I was gonna say I have to
Point.
pretend I'm mute. I have to write it down and say, "Do you want this?" And they say gyro, and I say, "Ooh, I don't know."
Yeah,
It's Chris behind the counter.
yeah. I don't
like
know.
I almost think they're.
I think
different,
there's clearly
they're different sandwiches.
multiple pronunciations.
Are they
No,
all the
I don't
same
think
sandwich?
so. I think
The fact that
there's-
we're talking about it means that there is.
Like,
no,
have you seen the
I don't-
Arby's
no,
commercial?
there isn't. It's like it's my
That-
example.
wait, this is a
Well,
perfect.
go ahead,
That
go ahead.
Arby's commercial, they say. Wait, maybe I'm
They
getting
do
this
say-
wrong.
they do say
I think
something
they say
about it.
euro. I think they say. I need a euro.
Yeah.
You know that commercial I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
they definitely-
Hero, dude. The song is Hero.
But they don't say hero. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure they don't say hero.
All right. Well, anyway.
I think you have to admit, Andrew, that there are multiple.
No,
we're
there
having
isn't.
it.
My example is with my last name. I won't say it, but there's only one way to pronounce it, but people pronounce it different ways because it's confusing.
But I think-
Same thing with hero.
All right, well, this is
There's
good.
you can pronounce it different ways,
I think
sure,
words
but only
get-
one of them's right.
I think words can get American or
There-
Englishized.
yeah, I think if you look in Webster's
it-
dictionary, there's plenty of examples of like a word that was one
Yeah.
way and then it eventually. I don't know. I can't think of an example, but
I think it's.
you say tomato, I say tomato.
no one says tomato though. I hate that one.
No, someone says
that's
tomato.
true that no one says tomato.
You're
No one-
right though. You're
certainly-
right. You're
certainly,
right.
no one
Yeah.
says potato.
Can we agree on that?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All
No, you're
right.
right. You're right. You're right. All right. Whatever.
I'm gonna look up this commercial after the
Yeah.
episode.
They
yeah.
do say hero. I need a hero. That's what they say.
All right, I don't think so. All right, Chris, what do you think? No, I'm just kidding. Hit us with those plugs.
I'll end with the flags. Pretty decent commercial. Look it up. I'll plug that. But if you liked what you listened to, I need a hobbypod.com. You can find everything, or iTunes. Leave a review. We're on Spotify these days.
Yep.
I think that if you I'm just guessing. I think if you just leave Spotify playing on your phone all day with the sound off while at the 9 to 5, shuffling through all, it'll probably help us in some way.
I think that's true.
It might kill your data.
It might get us on like the What's Hot playlist. At least.
I'd like to do that. I've been getting
Hot 50.
Yeah,
I've been getting notifications about Drake's Scorpion album.
Yeah.
I'd love a I Need a Hobby notification.
Would be cool.
But our social media, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram, I Need a Hobby Pod. Just keep listening. Keep sending in hobbies.
We could say we could.
I was just about to plug it.
We
We recently did a hobby with a fan who reached out to us, gave us a great idea. We're about to record a freaking episode about it. You could do the same. So,
are you gonna say what it is?
Let's save it for the pod.
It was on the IG, dude.
I think we should say it because if they have anything to say,
it's exciting.
No, just kidding. Yeah, we did tie dye.
Oh, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
right?
I thought you were talking about something else.
What?
No, just kidding. All right. Yeah, let us know. Do you have anything to say about tie-dye?
We did tie-dye. We're very excited.
Good experiences, bad experiences.
We'll let you know about it.
Hey, did you tie-dye your own skin tattoo style? Let us know.
Right before your job interview. Good one.
We've been there.
All right. See you next week.